welcome back to episode 33. That's 33. Shout out to Jeremy. It's 33. We're back for another episode of the Point Podcast. I'm Tom. That's Brock.
It's Bronk.
Hello. And then that's Ben.
It's me.
I'm also here.
It's Bronk.
Bronk. Yeah, Ben and Bronk.
Tonk.
All right, keep going.
Okay, yeah, and Tom. Tonk. Tonk. Bronk.
Bang.
Bunk. Bonk. This is a good episode. You can tell we've got lots of content to talk about.
Minecraft.
I was going to talk to you guys about something I was just thinking about the other day. By the other day, I mean maybe about 30 seconds ago. I've still been playing Split Fiction with the Lizard.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to the Lizard. You might have been thinking this as well. That game has started to get really boring.
Repetitive?
Yes. And I was just about to ask, is there any games that you've been playing or have played where it wears off really quick? Because when I first started playing Split Fiction with the Lizard, it was really fun. It was a bit different, very basic because it's supposed to be very accessible to people who haven't played games.
Yeah.
But I've noticed there is basically 4 things you can do in that game.
Jump.
So it's jump / double jump, just general movement, then there'll be a dash, and then you'll have some sort of ability depending on the level. And that might be shoot, there might be an alternate fire for the shoot, or it might be transform into something, or it might be like just a hit with like a sword or like a punch or something like that. And that's it. And that's the entire game. And they changed the scenarios and everything like that. And oh yeah, cool. It's just that for 12 hours, and I won't lie, it's starting to get really repetitive.
From what I've seen of most of it, it's, even though there's like little bits of combat here and there, majority of it's just standard platforming, yes?
I would say it's probably 60% platforming, 40% like combat-y sort of stuff. Maybe a bit less combat, honestly. It's usually like a bit of a mix at the same time. But it just feels like that game is very, very one-dimensional in that aspect. And I'm starting to get a little bit like, oh, come on, this is dragging on. Come on. I feel like that it's one of the only games in recent times where I'm like, this needs to be half the length. I understand that the length it is because it's trying to warrant itself as a
big release, AAA
as a AAA release and warrant the price that it costs, even though it's cheaper, but still to warrant that price. But this could have been a 8-hour experience opposed to a 12.
See, we were talking about this last night. Some of the boys are playing it, and then one of the other guys wants to play it. Like Jimmy and one of my other mates said that like it just gets better and better. Like the end of its story is like getting really, really entertaining.
I mean, it might, like story-wise, it's very like, and Liz was saying this to me, she was like, the writing doesn't really seem that good. Like, not the writing, the story's all fine and it's a cool idea and everything like that, but the actual dialogue is so cheesy, cringy. But it knows it is, so I'm not too offended by it.
Some of the dialogue in It Takes Two was like that as well.
Yes, it's the same idea. But to be fair, it was a while ago that I experienced it, but a way out, I didn't feel like that.
It was a lot more story.
Yes.
Focus on the story.
Way more story focus. I feel like that game is, at least from my experience out of the 3, is the better game out of them all. But it doesn't have the accessibility to trying to get like couples in or people who don't play like the other 2 do.
I found it extremely buggy. Other than that, the story was great. If they had released it now, I think it would have gone really, really well.
Yeah.
But just it was so buggy we couldn't play it on PC. I didn't try it on console, but there were certain things that just wouldn't work.
I think that's going to be one of those things where
they'll do a trilogy pack and release all 3.
Oh, they could, but
That'd
I feel
be
like
a very odd trilogy.
Yeah, no, that's
pack
what I think. I reckon
like,
they'd do one more game that's like Split Fiction. It Takes Two, and they could do that.
Yeah, that was
because the way out was very different. Like
very, very different. Yeah,
and I feel like I don't think they're going to go back to that. I think they're going to keep with the warm, fuzzy type of game.
Yeah. They've found their niche. They've fallen into it.
Yeah.
They might do something different. You never know. In terms of like games wearing thin, I've definitely had like a couple over the years where I've just fallen out of the momentum of like, hey, I'm having fun, and it's just like it's gone to a point where it's like, yeah, this is just a slog through.
I know one that you guys are going to go through soon.
I know one that I'm already at now.
You're currently in the Minecraft phase.
I was talking about Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to get into it, but I'm like, if I sit down to play it for an hour, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to start a story mission. I'll just run around, and then it's 10 minutes later and I'm on TikTok. But yeah, I just go, I need 8 hours to sit down and play that continuously to get the drive back. But I don't want 8 hours to play that game.
Usually, if it's a series, whatever part whatever new feature they've implemented to try and set that title as a, hey, here's the big new thing. The Batmobile in Arkham Knight, for example. That's usually the thing when they try and make that, we're going all in on that. That's the bit that kills it for me, that wears thin.
The Batmobile did kill that game.
Yeah.
So hard.
Assassin's Creed wasn't Shadows. I haven't played Shadows yet, but Syndicate. Finding the, what were they called?
All the missions were the same.
Yeah.
But it's all like
I was
that in all
having
the
fun
Assassin's
doing
Creed.
all the Rook missions, like taking down the strongholds and that. And in terms of story content, only, I can't remember her name, but the girls' missions I found were way more enjoyable than Edward was his name or something.
No, it's not, I know what you're talking. I can't think of his. It's not Edward.
His story missions were very boring. They wore thin very fast, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean,
there's always.
I mean, like I was saying, you guys are about to go through your Minecraft phase of I don't want to play this anymore. I mean, you've probably still got a little bit more time in it.
Yeah, Minecraft's one of those ones though where it is a phase. Cool, having fun. Oh, I'm not having fun anymore. It doesn't so much get to the point where it's like this is just a slog. It's more just like
I've had my 2 weeks.
It's almost like this is like, to me, it's almost like I'll go around and like this is meaningless. It just doesn't feel like anything. It just feels hollow almost. And I just put it away. And then you're filling up your bar again of wanting that itch.
Yeah.
Because the best part of it is when you start, it's like, where do we build the base? We need to go mining. We need to go to the nether. We need to go to the end. And then you're like, cool. The only thing left to do now is build my house up. It's like, I don't want to build my house up. I want something else to do.
And that's where, we were mentioning this last episode, that's where add-ons and mods and everything lend so much to that game's longevity.
Like I remember playing a Minecraft mod with Hobbs, shout out Hobbs, and it was like a zombie game, and you got weapons, and it was just zombies everywhere, and it was like an abandoned, like the procedural generated world will have like abandoned cities and things like that, and it was so fun. You could get destroyed real quick. It took ages for us to find a proper base. The zombies would just always surround you straight away. We had to basically have a floating base. Really fun, and there was a lot of longevity in that. We ended up stopped playing because I think some external factor to the actual game itself.
Worth reasons.
Yeah, like we just got busy or something like that, but it was super fun the whole time. But yeah, Minecraft's just one of those games where after a while it's too much of the same and you just don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's also a testament to how good that game is that you always come back.
Honestly, that's the same thing with a lot of survival games.
Yes.
You get to a point where it's either end game where there's nothing left to do and you're just sort of maintaining a position, or it's mid game where it's just like, I need that thing, but to get that thing, I got to grind out this crap.
And it's just
and
too
it's
long.
just so dull.
I don't know how some of the Minecraft YouTubers and streamers and stuff have 4,000 day hardcore worlds.
Oh.
I don't all they're doing is building bigger and bigger things.
It's because it's money.
Yeah.
It's money. It's not like you don't know that many people that are actually doing that IRL.
No, it's just all for content. But even then, it's like that's just I couldn't think of anything worse than sitting there on stream for say 10 hours talking to chat while I build a 900 by 900 circle.
Oh yeah, I would be so bored. So bored. But I mean, you do you. There's some people that get super into games and they can just play it forever. I don't have that itch
I
where I
just
can do it
dissed
forever.
survival games before, but I've got over 2,000 hours in
Ark.
In Ark,
Yeah.
And I loved every minute of it. I definitely have the same sort of phase with Minecraft where it's like, I'll play 100 hours in a single, week easily,
See,
and then drop it.
I feel like Ark has got at least my exposure to Ark, it does have a lot of end game stuff.
Yes.
So there's a lot longer longevity in it. But also if you're just going on public servers, you're not going to have fun on that game.
No, because it's
unless you
not
know
so
life
much,
it.
It's not so much a uphill struggle. It's a cliff climb because every other player on that server is out for themselves, and they will knock you down every time you try and make a base. Expect to be gone the next time you logged in.
Actually, I'd like to talk about this. I don't know how much experience you have with online survival games where you jump onto servers and build your own base and things like that, like Ark, and then sort of like DayZ and things of that kin. What was the other one? Rust. Yes, exactly.
That's what I was thinking about just before you mentioned it.
I was going to say, what's the Valhalla one or whatever? Valheim. And actually, there was one before that, Conan Exiles.
Yeah.
All those type of games. All those like survival games. Who are the people in the big survival games like Rust and Ark and that who spend their whole life on that game? You jump into a server and they are super end game and they're always on the server to the point where you can't do anything without getting raided or destroyed. But like, who is this person? How do you have money to survive to spend your whole life on this game?
It's like the people who all they play is EVE Online. Like, there's people who just, the second they get home from work, they log into that game and that's their game. They've played other games, but they don't have any interest in them really. This is the game that grabs their attention.
EVE's that big space one, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
yes. It's basically a second job for accountants. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've seen I remember watching some YouTube series on it and like how like the market crashed or something like that. And
the stories that come out of it are amazing and like detailed and great.
But
the moment-to-moment gameplay is just like, I have 9 different spreadsheets on my screen and I don't know what any of them mean.
That's like, do you think when games get too technical or you need to start looking at them in a way more technical level, that they become unfun? Because we know someone, and you know them a little bit, that used to be one of the best Final Fantasy 14 players in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And they had massive spreadsheets open to do every single thing, and they would like, you got to do this at this point, this like for all your boss raids, things like that. And it was like,
and they were only playing a single character at a time, weren't they?
I think so.
They weren't account linking or anything like that.
I don't think so. I don't think he was.
I also knew another guy who had it set up so that he was running basically 5 accounts at once and basically running his own group anytime he walked into the game.
No, I think it was only one.
Yeah.
But like he had it down to a proper science. That's what Taylor's like though.
Didn't he have another game he was like
League of Legends?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very good at League as well. Very good.
He's also that kind of person.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's the way his brain is wired.
That's how he's
just
wired, exactly. But I just couldn't. I don't know, how fun is that for? Like, do you think it gets to a point where it's too much of the spreadsheet than the game?
Yeah, when you start involving the meta, this is what kills Pokemon for me. As soon as people start involving the meta, I'm just like, I'm out. You've taken the fun out of the game. I don't care that the Pokemon I caught isn't top tier. It looks cool. I was having fun with it. You've ruined it. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, but are you playing online though?
Not often, no.
So I mean, at that point, it doesn't matter. This is people bitching and moaning at your single player game.
Yeah, it's more just the
problem in itself.
A few of the people that I would play with, they go all in on getting. I mean, they helped me, and you know who you are. Thank you. They would like help me. Oh, we're chaining shinies. Oh, we're getting 5-star EVs and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, cool, I'll go along for the ride. But then I know everything after that when I go and do stuff by myself. I'm like, every Pokemon I'm catching is below that grade. What's the point of me playing this game? It ruins it. It takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I get the idea behind shiny hunting. I just don't care. Yeah, it looks cool. I'm not soft resetting my game 9,000 times to get one Pokemon.
Yeah, especially when it's usually like you see like those people streaming doing shiny hunting for Pokemon and they've got like 6 to 12 instances of Pokemon up and they just keep pressing restart. It's like I
had a person that I was talking to at my work the other day come in and they're running a living dex, a shiny living dex in
How
Scarlet.
are you doing a shiny living dex?
They were like 400 Pokemon in for this, like they'd gotten 400 shinies.
If you don't know what a living dex in Pokemon is, it is not just seeing every Pokemon in Pokemon, it is catching and having every single one in your box.
Yeah, not just like having, you've caught it and then you evolved it, blah. It's having every
you have a
single
Charmander,
instance
you have a
of-
Charmeleon, you have a Charizard all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like for every single Pokemon.
And then a shiny living dex is the same thing, but every single one of them is shiny as well, which is another step of insanity. It's
Bro.
I thought completing the Pokedex in any of the games was tedious enough. That sounds like hell.
yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Fuck.
Got to be
that.
You got to be wide different.
Yes.
And
You
not good different. Bad
I
different.
have had a shiny Charizard in every single Pokemon game I've played. That's usually near the breaking point for me, is getting that shiny Charizard. After that, it's usually just like I've done what I want to do. I'm out. I'll wait another 3 years and then buy the next game.
See, there's different like sects of like gaming communities where like it's like their own subsection that I just don't fully understand and never really got into. That's part like all the shiny hunting and things in Pokemon. Another one is all the people who super into like the Counter-Strike economy.
Oh yeah.
Like the people who are super into knives and the guns and like all the skins and things like that. And I understand like loot boxes, like, oh, that's really cool, blah, blah, blah type of thing. But it gets to a point where it's like, wow, that's a lot of money you're sinking into a digital knife.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of time spent spinning. I fully get it. It's just gambling.
Yes.
So I understand the tick that it...
Gambling with
dopamine.
extra
Gets people
steps.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
dopamine rush.
But
There's easier ways to get that rush.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will say though, there is a lot of interesting stuff with those... With like the Counter-Strike economy, there's a lot of interesting things. Like you see like, oh, this rare pattern when it happens in 1 in a billion times, and then this thing and this thing and this thing, and that's why
How their dyes work is so cool.
Yeah, and then like, oh, that's why this skin is really cool. Like, oh, so rare and worth so much. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's really cool. It just sucks that it's all surrounded by basically gambling.
Yeah.
And obscene words on the side of your gun.
Yeah. I think
And in chat.
I tell you, it is so similar, but I probably prefer it more is all of the TF2 items and the TF2 hats.
Oh,
All
I
the
remember
things-
the hats. Yeah.
All the things that determine how expensive they are. Like one thing that is fairly expensive in the TF2 community, not super expensive, but is expensive, is buds. Do you remember the buds?
Vaguely. I didn't
They're
get
just
hugely
they're
into it.
earpods. For people who don't know what earpods are, they're the wide AirPods. It's the wide Apple earbuds. But when TF2 came to Mac, every person who played TF2 on Mac got a pair of buds, and the price of them went through the roof like
Because
crazy.
the only way to get it was to own a Mac.
Own a Mac, and playing TF2 on Mac in 2008 or 9 was 0.5% of people, and I think it was
Yeah.
only a limited time. So, like, the buds cost like hundreds of dollars, and then a Bill's hat for people who pre-ordered the original Left 4 Dead. They got Bill's hat
Yeah.
from Left 4 Dead, and that was cost a ton
What
of
are
money
your
as well.
thoughts on like cross game things like that? Because I remember like keeping on TF2 and its hat economy. If you played, I don't remember if it was the original Pokemon, but Pokemon 2.
Yeah, I remember.
Like had a bunch of stuff like you get Brock Sampson's hair and the knife. You could
Yeah, you'd get a lot
things
of
like,
stuff in TF2 if you played
like a bunch of
Pokemon,
stuff from
yeah.
Claptrap and
I
Ash
love that
Williams
sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool having that sort of, I played this game and I unlocked this stuff that works in this game. It was fun.
Well, I've got
it was really cool.
The most famous example of this was one that never actually ended up happening. Have you guys ever heard of? Oh my god, I'm forgetting the name of it.
So famous.
Hey, no, you got me there.
That deserves a sound. There we go. While you think on what it's
No,
called.
I know what it is.
Yep.
So
Okay,
shut
cool.
up. Do you guys? I don't know if you ever remember this or know a thing. Do you remember Stop and Swap? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Stop and Swap was a feature in Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, where what the go was is that if you had Banjo-Tooie and you'd played Banjo-Kazooie, you could go through the games and unlock stuff in Banjo-Tooie. The problem is, so they were on N64 and it's a cartridge, and the idea was because of how the RAM worked on N64, you could quickly pull out a cartridge and put another one in and it still had info from the old game. And the idea was, if we do that, we can actually load that info into this new cartridge to prove that you had
It wasn't
played
just
it.
the 64 that did that. You could get a whole bunch of effects in the SNES and NES as well.
Well, we're talking about Stop
I
and
know,
Stop for
I know.
N64. But you could do that, and the idea was that once you put in that cartridge from the other game, it would give in the info, and you would know that they played this other game. So in Banjo-Kazooie, the Stop and Swap, there was all these items around the map that it was like, oh, you got this egg, or you got this ice key, and you got all these things, and it's like, oh yeah, for the next game. Once they got to Banjo-Tooie, they realized the time between they changed. There's a new iteration of the N64, like a D chassis or something like that, and that time for the RAM got shortened from like 5 seconds to like half a second or something like that. Or they realized something like this, so then they realized it wasn't humanly possible to be able to do it in time anymore, so they scrapped it. But it's in the original Banjo-Kazooie. You can get all these items for the next game, and they talk about it, and you go to the next game, and you can't use them.
It's so stupid.
The biggest cuck of all time.
I mean,
But-
not their fault. That's
No, but they
because
should have looked
expecting the
into it more.
hardware to-
But what they did when Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie came out on Xbox Live Arcade, they fixed it and they added stuff to it. So now you can
That's
do
cool.
you can do Stop and Swap in Banjo-Kazooie, in Banjo-Tooie, if you had it, and it gives some pretty cool things like a different skin, and they added stuff to the game. A game that at that point would have been a decade old.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna like when you said Stop and Swap. I know the name, but I know it from more like physical
50s?
things. When you take in, I'm ignoring you. When you take in stuff, hey, I've got this game. Swap it in, and like I get this special edition thing and all that sort of stuff. Like,
He
I don't
means
know.
trading
Like,
in.
that's a-
He's talking in about our enemy and trading in games
No,
to get a
I'm
better
not.
version.
I'm not talking about that one.
Seems like
Things
something
like
game would do.
Pokemon, for example. Yeah, they tried. In Pokemon, for example, like the legendary events and that, where it's like, oh, you come to this event and anyone who attends got this code for this Pokemon.
Oh, that
blah,
was
blah.
cool.
Let me walk into
Yeah.
Big W and get a Darkrai and walk out.
Not the ones I meant.
I do
Those were
remember
cool,
that.
but I mean the actual physical events
Yep,
where it's
you
like,
mean the old when they used to do the trading? Yep, back in the day, that's how you used to get Mew in the original.
yes, you had to be at a certain event
Yep.
that they held.
In
like,
the original
twice.
Pokemon, so people who don't know, yeah, like Brock was saying, you would have to go to. It was usually a Toys R Us, and they would have. I forget.
Oh,
was
rest
it?
in peace, the giraffe.
Was it actually? Was it for Pokemon trading card, or was it actual Pokemon tournaments with their Game Boy?
Pokemon tournaments.
Yeah. So if you, yeah, you said that weird. Back in, it would have been like 98, 97, whatever. To get Mew in the original Pokemon games on the Game Boy, you had to go to a Toys R Us, and you would go into a what the fuck are you looking at?
Because you said
I
that weird.
know, but I'm in the middle of the story. Let's start again. All right. So back in the day,
When you watch this later,
Yeah.
cut that.
yeah, exactly. Back in the day when you wanted to get Mew in the original Game Boy of Pokemon, you would have to go to a Toys R Us, and they would have the Pokemon tournaments there, and I think they had someone there, and I'd plug
They would
something
have
into
someone either from Game Freak or from Nintendo.
or some sort of thing.
They'd
yeah.
have an official there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'd have basically basically look like a bigger Game Boy, and you just like you were trading a thing, but it would unlock this Pokemon.
It would unlock
usually
Mew, so you could put it
Yeah.
on your copy of Pokemon, which was really
Yeah.
cool.
For
It's
Red-
pretty much
Red-
trading Mew straight to your console.
Yes.
Go on
Yes.
handset.
Yeah, for Red, Blue, Yellow was Mew, and then you had Celebi in Gold and Silver.
Yep.
And Crystal, and then I can't remember who was for. Might have been Victini or something for
Yeah, for-
Alpha and Sapphire.
Not Alpha.
Sorry, for Ruby and Sapphire.
Ruby and Sapphire, yeah. But it was a cool thing that they used to do physical in person. And I feel like the Pokemon that it was hardest to do that type of stuff with was the stuff in the DS era, because I think they stopped as many of the physical comps,
It was all online codes
and
at
it was
that point.
it was all Wi-Fi. Because I think that was the case with Darkrai. I could be completely
Yeah,
wrong,
you
but
had to connect to like someone's hotspot or something at the
Yeah.
event. It was just like
so yeah, if you wanted to get Darkrai, what
Yeah.
did you have to do?
you walked in. It was like I think we went to Big W somewhere, and then they had someone there that was set it up, and you pretty much just lined up. You connected to their thing, and then it's like, oh, you've received the gift because that's what all the
Yes.
mystery
all
gift,
the
yeah.
mystery gift, and it was pretty much you scan this or they Wi-Fi to you, whatever it was, and then it connects it to your account. It's like you open the gift, brand new legendary Pokemon.
Or was it? I thought for Darkrai, for the
I'm gonna Google it.
what Pokemon game was this for?
It would have been for.
Diamond.
No, I know that's what they're from Diamond and Pearl, but in Diamond and Pearl, you've got to go to the island to get Darkrai. what is it, like Midnight Island or something like that?
Yeah,
it's
the
you get
event
them,
basically
so you
puts
don't
you at the island.
yeah, you don't get the actual Pokemon. You still got to fight them.
Oh,
Because I remember
maybe.
I had a R4, an action replay back in the day, and that's how I got Darkrai.
okay.
Well, I didn't have it. A mate had it, yeah.
And then
I don't do illegal
after
stuff.
that, then they went to never. From that, then they went to like, oh, you go to walk into EB Games or wherever, and you ask them for the code card, and then you just enter it into the mystery gift online option. And,
Yes, I had that before. I did that with one of them in like X and Y. I think I'd got a mystery gift item or legendary
I
or
had
something.
every single one of those cards from X and Y and didn't miss a single one. And then Sun and Moon, same thing. And then when they kind of stopped doing it afterwards, I dropped out of it entirely because I was just like, what is the point?
Have you found anything, Ben?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff, but they're all like events for the trading card game and the MMOs and Pokemon Go and those type of events.
Yeah.
Because this happened 2006, 2007.
Yeah, it was ages ago, yeah.
But I remember, there was a big thing saying if you want to get this, come to Big Double. Maybe it was Toys R Us or something like that.
Yeah, Toys R Us had a big thing with Pokemon back in the day.
But I'm back on what you were saying about like the Banjo-Kazooie thing. I remember they did that with the PS2. If you had, say you played Ratchet and Clank 2 and then 3, you could unlock the certain weapons if you had the same save file on the memory card. There's a few things with the Tony Hawk games that had that.
Yep.
That was so much fun.
So there's one from Metal Gear that I want to say, but I don't want to say because it's going to spoil if we play it together. So I won't say it. My name. But Ratchet and Clank was sick because you would have...
You can unlock your old guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you went to the old Gadgeton headquarters.
Just real quickly before you go on, I'm surprised that they didn't do that for Banjo-Kazooie because the 64 had the memory pack. Not everyone had it, but
but that was after the game came out. I'm pretty sure because they added that for Donkey Kong 64, didn't they? The expansion pack. Same company, it was Rare that made those games.
I thought the memory pack was there from the start.
I don't remember, but
because the controllers had.
But no, it just didn't. You didn't need it for the game, so that would have been a bit silly for it just for that. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff like that back in the day. I tell you something, Brock, you might have remembered this. Back on the N64 with Pokemon Snap, did you ever go to Blockbuster and print off your photos?
No, because I did not. I went with a friend who did that. I didn't have a 64 myself.
Yeah, so if you don't know, back in the day with Pokemon Snap on the N64, you could go to your local Blockbuster, and if they had it, they had a machine there where you could put in your N64 cartridge and print off your photos that you took of the Pokemon.
That's so much. Like, the logistics of getting that sorted is just a fucking nightmare.
This was like, look, 90s, early 2000s.
They had money to blow.
Was so cool when it was happening, and I wish they still kind of did stuff, but I mean...
The
internet has changed all of that. Just made it absolutely redundant.
These Pokemon events and having that physical machine, getting that to every Blockbuster, that is a mission and a half.
Even just like the old PS2 in-store game displays that had like the cool blue and silver patterns that had your games you could play. Like there's other ones around now that you can get, but they don't look nowhere near as cool as that. And every game store had one.
Oh yeah,
Different.
I still remember going to Dick Smith Powerhouse back in the day, and there was a PS2 there, and there was like a Ratchet and Clank ripoff game, and you play like as a robot. I forget what it was. I want to find this one day, but it's like display PS2 that you'd play on got projected up onto a massive like 85-inch screen, like on the wall. It was like it would have been like an OG plasma TV. I'm talking about like 2007, 8.
Yeah, this thing was like mind-boggling.
Like probably even earlier than that because it was PS2, so it was probably like 2005. Honestly, this thing would have cost tens of thousands of dollars at the time. But I remember you could walk in, and as soon as you walked in, you could look left, and you could see whatever someone was playing on the PS2, and it was so cool.
Yeah,
but there's just not stuff like that anymore.
Gaming companies have fallen off.
Well, I mean, retail stores in that sense have fallen off.
Again, it's the online era has just changed all of it. It's so easy to get that sort of news out now that you don't need those big attention-grabbing displays. It's just...
But it just takes the joy out of it. Being able to walk into a store and being like, I'm going straight to that PlayStation display. If my parents need me, I will be here for 45 minutes.
Yes, yep. And they'll do whatever, and they'll come back and see you later.
Yep.
I will say...
It still wouldn't buy me the same game I've been playing for 45 minutes.
there are enemy, but back in the day, I used to love EB games.
It used to be
Yeah.
cool.
It used to be cool. You used to walk in. It honestly, besides when the Zing stuff isn't added EB and it's just like a normal one, you go in, they look the same as they used to.
Yeah.
Like it's still just the white and the red.
So you might have been a little bit young. You wouldn't remember this as much. When
Little?
EB first came to
Electronics
Australia,
Boutique.
yeah,
They
it
changed
was
in 2003. I looked it up the other day.
cool.
That's not a dig.
Womp
Okay.
womp.
Anyway, when they first came to Australia, like there was no real game stores before then. There was one or two like individual stores, but there was no gaming chains.
So I do want to actually debate you on this because I don't know if you remember, there was 2 other game stores like EB back in the day. One of them,
Trivia.
One of them was Game. Remember Game? And they're
Yeah,
they're
so I
massive.
remember game. They came to Australia after.
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
they
I'm
New-
just saying.
Were they New Zealand?
No, they're actually UK.
yeah.
Huh.
They're a UK company. And then Game Wizards. Do you remember Game Wizards?
No, we
Can you
didn't
pull up-
have one here.
Yep. Yeah. Thank
If you
for
can
saying
pull
where
up-
we are.
I,
Censor that.
you're talking,
You're the one doing it.
you're talking
Yes,
to
to
yourself.
remind me. Yes.
This is going to show the Game Wizards. I have a picture in my head. Yeah, that's exactly
1990.
yellow.
Rebranded. What did it rebrand as? So Game Wizards.
Renamed itself the Game Wizards to simply Game Wizards. Oh, okay.
I don't know, because I mean the one at my local shopping centre closed down years ago,
Oh, it was acquired by Game.
and then Game left Australia as well.
Yeah.
They've still got some of the game stores in the UK, don't they?
Yeah,
It's
In UK,
still
yeah.
much bigger over there.
I do like the purple they use for their game
Yeah, it was-
lettering. It was a nice purple.
yeah. So the 2 big stores we had were the 3 big stores were EB used to be Electronics Boutique,
And then they
turned to
changed,
EB
yeah.
Games, which if you don't know is the same company as GameStop in America.
Yep.
It's only Australia, New Zealand, and Canada that are still EB Games, I believe. It's GameStop all in America. Then we had Game, and then we also had Game Wizards.
Yeah, I don't remember Game Wizards.
Yeah, they were out prior to EB, I think. So I
When
think,
did CEX come into it?
I don't
I
know.
mean, they're not really
well
new
after.
games, but
Yeah, like
were well
CEX,
after.
that wasn't around back that I don't remember at least.
But anyway, I still remember walking into my first EB store
Yeah.
and just like
oh, the purple.
there was nothing like it that I'd ever seen before. Where it's just like, here is a store just for
For
games. Everything else had been like, oh, you walk into Big W, there's like a game corner over here. Oh, you walk into Kmart, back when Kmart actually sold games, and
Yeah.
they have their little gaming section.
Yep.
Oh, Target has their one over. EB was just like, you walk in and everything
Thing was
was
gaming.
about that hobby,
Yep.
and it was
yeah,
so
they were
cool.
always having a sale.
I mean, they still are.
They still are.
that's
And
all.
they're always playing bloody Dead Mouse. What's that? What's Dead Mouse's biggest song? They always
Ghosts
play that.
and stuff.
Ghosts and Stuff. Yep, they always spam that.
It's the only song anybody knows by Deadmau5. It's
Yeah.
the only thing.
Yeah.
God damn.
But no, like, yeah, Ben's right. If it had ever been the Game, that was the coolest atmosphere. You'd go in and all the walls would be black, and it would just like be like purple lights.
Yeah.
So
the
cool.
silver looked really good on all the shelves and like
Yep.
the little up tops. Oh, it looked great.
It looked really nice, but I always remember like their prices and everything were nowhere near as good as EB's.
Didn't care. I enjoyed them. I wasn't paying for it.
I don't know. I mean,
My 2 for 40.
I don't 100% remember as much, but I do feel like Game back in the day, it felt like, I mean, it's the exact same product, but it felt a bit more bougie.
Yeah.
I remember going in and they used to physically be less on the shelf.
Yes.
They used to be a lot less on the shelf.
One copy of each game rather
Yeah.
than like 4 or 5 stacked.
Or like all there. But I remember they used to have a lot more stuff than EB, like a lot more weirder titles.
A lot of PC stuff.
A lot of PC. I remember buying my first PC game there. I bought a bloody Total War game and it actually sucked. It was a Warhammer game and it was an RTS and I was like 10 and I wanted to kill myself
You wasted 7 months worth of pocket
Yep.
money on it.
on that. Yep.
Oh,
I used to buy
memories
my
on- God, yeah.
PSP games there.
Yeah.
Like my original PSP on UMD.
Just get mine from Kmart.
They used to get. I think I got some from Kmart as well. But they had some really cool ones there, and that's actually the first time I remember seeing Metal Gear. I remember picking up a copy of Portable Ops and looking at it just like on the small UMD case, and then I used to see it everywhere.
Such a weird method, like a cartridge. The UMD thing.
The UMD,
They were.
yeah, UMDs are weird.
Cool though.
Yeah,
But
and they are
stupid.
cool.
It's literally just Sony with more proprietary crap.
It is. It's just the disc. The case is supposed to be just protective.
Yeah.
The idea, I heard a thing recently that the PSP, the UMDs, the idea of that plastic case was they were trying to be a competitor to GameCube, and on the GameCube, the Game Boy, and people would generally just toss in like their cartridge with their console and walk around. So they wanted something that they could use a disc, but it could be a bit more rugged, so they could throw it in their bag and not have to worry about the case. And that was the idea of the UMD. I just remember people cracking them
Would have
open
been
all
at
the
the same
time.
time as the DS. Not
Yeah,
the
but
Game Boy.
you know,
yeah,
like
same
around that
principle.
type of era. But yeah, no, it's just going back and thinking about all those cooler things that used to be around with gaming. And you're right, since the internet's come about, like it was around during those companies' time for sure. But
It
since
was
it's
nowhere
become
near as prevalent,
way more prevalent and just commonplace in general for everyone, all that cool stuff disappeared.
One of the big things that I think sort of in my mind shows how much it's changed as well is online guides, how important
Oh, they're
they were
gone.
back in the day, and these days it's just like, no, you just go on the wiki and someone will have answered it. And
Cheat books.
yeah,
I've got to find my cheat book.
We've
I've
got
got
them
a few
here.
of them. Yeah.
Game FAQs. That website, that used to be huge, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's still there. There's
I used
still
to
got
print 'em
heaps
off.
of
Blue and grey.
blue,
Yep.
white, and grey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on it the other night.
Yeah, and you'd go on and you would print off the
entire
I would usually get cheats
walkthrough.
from game FAQs.
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto Liberty City. I had it folded into a nice A4 bit
Yep.
and stuck it in the inside of the case.
I literally had a binder that I had stapled them all, and I'd put them in and be like each game, and I'd go in there, and then I'd also have cheat books.
Yeah.
Cheat books were massive.
See, I'd always buy the cheap books, but they were for like, I saw on it's like, oh, there's one for Arkham City, and I'd buy the book, and I didn't have the other 500 games that were on the cover.
Yep.
I just thought, there's that one game I own. I'm sure I'll get other games, and I always had it well after the life of the game. It's like, I can go back and check out what cheats they had.
I had one for, I think it was for the Nintendo 64, and the only game I remember from it is Rayman 2, The Great Escape, because it went through and detailed where every single lum was, and I was just like, cool, there's 1,000 lums in this game. It's taking up half the damn book.
Oh, I don't remember. I think I found that the double-ended lightsaber in Ratchet and Clank out of one of the cheat books, or like some gamer mag at the time, like a couple weeks after it came. It's like, you can get this cool Easter egg if you put this code in.
That was the double-ended lightsaber in Ratchet and Clank was 100% schoolyard getting told by a mate. I remember we used to would go to like a gymnasium every Friday for school sport or something, and I remember waiting in the line there, and my mate said, oh, if you want to get the double-ended lightsaber in Ratchet and Clank, it's circle, square, up, down, left. And I drilled that into my brain the whole rest of like 3 or 4 hours till I got home. There's a reason I still remember it now. I
Yep.
played that game recently, but see, I hadn't played it in probably about a decade plus prior to playing it a few months ago. I still remember that.
Yeah, it was
thing.
burned in my brain.
Yeah.
It works on the PS Vita remaster they did for it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'll see if I can remember it. Got it first go. And I was like, this is great. Oh, no. The only person I knew that had Ratchet and Clank 3 other than me and my sister was James when I met him in year 7.
Yeah.
Nobody else knew it. And he's like, I was like, have you got the code? He goes, yeah, I did it years ago. And I was like, I don't know how I found out. It must have been one of those mags. But my God, that thing it looks so cool.
Very quickly, speaking on cheats and that, are there any cheats on a game that you feel like you were the one that discovered it, but like you know that other people out there knew it, or an exploit in a game that you think you were the one who
Exploit, yes.
came up with it?
Game, like just cheats, I was never going to get anything like that. I think I accidentally put in a cheat in one game or two back in the day, whatever. But back in 2016 with Black Ops 3, the last DLC they put out, or the second last DLC, was Revelations. And that had the Zombies map Revelations in it. I was playing it release night with some mates. It was around HSC time at school, and we found a glitch where you could sit up on a ledge. Do you remember the wall running part where you go around and you can get that perk right at the end, like in the low gravity bit? On that first wall, on release, you could just sit on it. And we found an angle. We sat on this wall, and you haven't played Call of Duty Zombies much, Brock, but you're never in a position where you can't get hit.
Yeah.
You're never in somewhere where a zombie can't hit you. That makes the game redundant, essentially. We found that we already had fairly good weapons, and then we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna get some really good shit. We got like bloody thunder gun, and we got like ray guns and things like that, all packer punched. And we just sat up there, and we got to like round 57 on the first night. And I mean, that was like 3-4 hours of playing, because it gets to the point where it's like
it's a chore.
It's a chore, that game, because they get so hard.
Yeah.
Trying to do Origins the first time, keep getting out each step, and then someone runs around and you're like, I got to find the Google. ADSL sucked, so you couldn't load a page to get it, and you're like, all right, we'll do this step. Come back. 45 minutes later, I'm still looking through the wikis.
Yeah, but that's the first thing.
Any exploits you feel like you came up with?
I think I guessed one of the Crash Bandicoot codes on like the first one. We can unlock all the islands. I think I guessed it. I don't know if I had read it somewhere and I had some numbers in my head or something like that. I can't think of anything off the top. Some of the Tony Hawk ones were cool, but I remember reading them somewhere.
Yeah. My one was like very small. It was for Zelda Legend of Seasons on the Game Boy Color. The like second dungeon, I think it is, or might be, but you go into this underground world, and the usual way you're supposed to do it is there's a switch that you have to hit to build up a bridge to get across lava, and you're supposed to go and get the boomerang, and it's this whole actual song and dance thing you got to go through, and it's very irritating. I found that you could just, if you found a bomb in the overworld, you had it in your pocket, you just throw a bomb and that detonates a switch, and you can just bypass the boomerang entirely for like 2/3 of the game, and then you get given the upgraded boomerang later on, which is better than the normal boomerang in every way, and it doesn't like detriment you at all not having the original boomerang.
You just happen to find it. Yeah, I think I found a few like skips like that unintentionally.
Yeah.
I will say, getting back to the zombies thing, I know you, like we said, you haven't really experienced Call of Duty Zombies, but I feel like one reason why that blows up so much, and Ben, you can account to this, is that it is one of the only games these days where it still has that community around it of, oh, what do I do? I've got to look it up online, and you're with your mates. It's almost harking back to having the cheat book type of thing, because when you want to do the Easter eggs,
there's no steps.
There's no steps. They don't tell you anything.
It's all found just by trial and error.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of them are like, they're getting ridiculous now. Some of the
They're
things.
very convoluted. Yes,
extremely.
I remember. Sorry, I've seen how convoluted some of the previous ones were, because like when I used to watch all the Vanos videos and that, like watching them do the Easter eggs, like I was just like, how would you even figure any of this out? But say what you were going to say, Ben.
What that like first week or two of Black Ops 6, when they were trying to figure out the zombies Easter egg, was the most exciting time on TikTok in forever. Watching them go, oh, we found another step. It's like, still don't know what it does, and you're trying to watch it. It's like a 40-minute video for like, now when you do the actual Easter egg, it's like 4 minutes into round 1.
I don't want to cut you off. Did we ever fucking find out what the go with Mount Chiliad is?
No.
No,
what was the question about it? Sorry, I don't
Mount
remember.
Chiliad, GTA 5.
Yeah.
There was the whole aliens Easter egg with Mount Chiliad.
Because they released something or teased something or something, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Did they ever find something, or was it been proved that it actually was an Easter egg, or was it just
Mount?
They were just pulling their leg?
I'll be honest. I don't recall what you're talking about.
Really? So there was massive thing with GTA 5. It's like not Sasquatch San Andreas level.
Is this when it originally came out or just recently?
Oh no, when it came out, and it's been like since.
There is I just clicked on it, just typed in mystery solved. The first Reddit thread that pops up is Chiliad mystery. There are 44,000 hunters that are trying to solve this mystery, and I don't think. Let's go the best post of all time. No, I don't think they've solved it.
That's crazy. It's to the point. It's like, do you think there actually is something, or it's just them pulling
here
the
we
leg?
go. After all 11 years of speculation, the Mount Chiliad mystery in Grand Theft Auto 5 has been debunked. Former Rockstar's game developer Ben Hinchcliffe revealed that the cryptic mural on Mount Chiliad was designed to mess with people and doesn't lead to any in-game secrets. That was the 12th of January this year.
Yeah, so there was a mural at Mount Chiliad that had like a UFO and the like on the top of the mountain and all these weird things. And people for years.
Is this the thing with like the UFO cultist thing, like that red, green, and blue
maybe,
area?
Yeah,
It's very
it's at the
deep
base.
rabbit hole.
It's at the anyway.
It's a big thing, but that was a big like gaming mystery for years. Like that's one of the only ones I can think of.
See, a lot of that
not
stuff,
even recent time, but
A lot of that stuff
it's
I missed
consistent
because
one.
I was never like GTA 5, for example.
GTA.
I came into that very late.
Mm.
I only started playing that in like 2017.
Yeah.
So, like after it
Yeah,
came
fair.
to the PC and like got the big
Yeah.
update and everything.
I got it as a Valentine's gift in like, when did it come out? Like 2013?
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, that's like, it was probably maybe 2014. I remember getting it. I was like, this is hectic. Didn't have a PS3 to play it on. But
Yeah, so when I started playing, like all the online stuff, like everyone kind of knew all that stuff already and just didn't talk about it because it wasn't news. And so I missed it entirely.
Yeah, no, that was a big thing when that game came out. Hopefully they've got some crazy thing on there. I feel like the reason that Chiliad wasn't anything was just to try and take the piss, like the Sasquatch in San Andreas, which is probably the most famous like gaming mystery thing, and it's nothing, literally nothing.
There's a whole range of those as well, like the faces in Mario Galaxy, I think it is.
Yeah, those the scary like tree faces in the distance.
On the distance. Yeah.
I think we talked a little bit about this in our Halloween episode, which is probably our worst episode we ever did.
Yeah,
What do you mean
about the
we
Sonic
won't?
one.
What?
The Sonic one, the faces that you can get in the.
Oh no, we talked about like something.
that was
else.
that was a
good one.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, Sonic CD.
The Sonic CD, yeah, the margin face or whatever. That's a scary noise that plays like. Whoa, 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 da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's one of the boss themes, but
Yeah, it's still scary. It's Sonic. They decrypted it. Apparently it says, I love feet, I love feet, I love feet.
That one's for you, Bailey.
God, yeah. But no, I mean, like, there isn't as much of that stuff anymore, which sort of sucks.
They're not putting in as much effort in.
No, they're not.
You go, oh, cool, this cat does this thing. Awesome. That is the only cool thing the game developers threw in, is like on a whim. It's like this. I think the fans would like this.
Well, there's no mystery in them anymore because people don't like having that stuff unsolved.
No, they want to go, I can't figure this out. And they're on TikTok within 11 seconds and know what to do. And it's done.
Yeah, there has been a bit of a phenomenon in recent times, and I've picked up on it. I've seen it in person. This isn't really to do with gaming, but to do with TikTok, is younger people using TikTok as a search engine. I don't know anything. I go into TikTok to search it up so I can get a quick video.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Did that on Minecraft the other day. Couldn't figure out how to build something. It's like, I'll watch a video instead.
Yeah, no, that I sort of get, but it will be basic questions.
Oh, yeah. My question was very basic.
Like straight up, like just Google this type of thing, and it's straight up to TikTok. To be fair though, it's better than when you'd go onto Google and it'll be a YouTube video and it would be a 5-minute video and you only needed 2 seconds of it.
Yeah.
It's a little better now because like the YouTube will show you like the section that the part
most
you're in.
viewed and things like that. Yeah, but
That's handy.
That's YouTube themselves putting that in, not the video dealing with all that.
Even
BS.
TikTok now has an AI. If you type in like a straightforward question, you'll have like 2 or 3 videos, and then there'll be a paragraph that's like an AI overview, similar to how Google does it now, and it tells you the answer to the question you've asked. So it's like, I can see why they're doing that, why they're using TikTok and not any other thing. Use ChatGPT.
It's just a different generational thing, I guess.
Yeah, iPad babies grew up and had babies.
I would
I
love.
feel so out of my element with that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I've never used TikTok ever. The idea of going onto it and just like for the answer to basic questions, I'm just like,
You went
what
around.
you said, just use Google. Like,
You missed the TikTok craze during COVID. I refused
Yeah.
to get on it for like
I was
don't
the
know,
same.
6 months, and then James kept sending me videos. I was like, this is driving my head. I can't keep using this link to sign in. I was like, screw it. I'll download it. That first night, 3 a.m. Next night, 3:30. I'd get off playing games at 11:30. I'll watch TikTok for half an hour. Next minute, it's 4 a.m. and I'm like, well, luckily I don't have to do anything tomorrow because the world's in a pandemic. But I guess I'll sleep until midday. TikTok, there was some quality content back then.
do you reckon that like
It was.
it would have grown as big if it hadn't been for the pandemic?
Yeah, I think it would have. It was a new idea.
Vine 2.0.
Yeah.
Vine, I don't know why that ever closed.
It was Vine without the restrictions that Vine had.
But I think we might have asked this question before. Do you think TikTokers are funnier than people on Vine? Or do you think Vine... See,
100%.
I think people on Vine are funnier because they had 6 seconds to make a joke land and they did it every single time.
Well, I think there was a lot of funny Viners, I guess they were called, but I feel like there's a lot of cringe on there.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
even
It's
for
the
back
same
then
with TikTok,
standard.
though. There's a
No,
heck of a lot of cringe on there.
different type of cringe. Shut up. That was cringe. But
Do you think, before you finish that, do you think there are funnier TikTok creators now, or versus that there are funnier Vines? Because I don't remember any creators on Vine at all, other than all the funny TikToks of theirs, like just the one-offs that I saw.
I think there's better creators on TikTok. For
Oh,
sure.
definitely.
I think there's a lot more brain dead on TikTok though.
Yeah.
Like people who all they do is dance.
The funny content on Vine got popular. If it wasn't funny, you never saw it. It was gone.
Yeah.
Into the void.
Yeah, I mean, like, the reason Vine disappeared was that they got an X amount of traffic and it wasn't making a ton of money. And what happened was the top 10 or 12 Vine creators went to Vine, which was Twitter. And I've heard a few of them talk about this, and they're like, we want to get paid. We're getting you millions and millions and billions of views. We want to get paid. And Twitter said, no, we're not paying you. So they said, okay, we're leaving TikTok. I mean, we're leaving Vine. And they all left, and the viewership of Vine went down like crazy. And it was to the point where I was like, we're not making enough money from this to make it sustainable, and they closed it. That's what I heard, at least.
Yeah. I mean, you can just go on YouTube now, type in Vine compilation, and
it'll come up, yeah. But I feel like there's a lot of Vines that are so fucking cringy.
Yeah.
And it's like, wannabe, try hard, super hard.
You say that's what's been on every, not just like video sharing sites, but like even social media. Like, you look at the early days of YouTube when everyone was going to be like, oh, I want to be the next big content creator, blah, blah. When YouTube was like the first early years of it. There was so much just junk on there that people
Still
just
is.
uploaded.
There is a lot.
Oh, my baby giggled. And it's just like, there's nothing special about that.
You want to see
It's
some
not-
junk? Type in the Save Point podcast on YouTube. That's a piece of shit.
you mean Co-op 64, right?
Don't.
They're still bigger than us.
Yeah, they're well and truly bigger. Oh my god.
They're also getting paid.
Yeah, they are.
yeah. But yeah, it happened like YouTube had so much junk in those early years. It still does, has just as much junk now. But same would be said for Vine, same for TikTok, same for any sort of social media sharing site.
There's
It
a lot
has
more.
so much junk on there that just goes so far under your radar that unless you go specifically looking for it and, you know, peeling back the rock and going, fuck, there's a lot of crap under here.
It's a lot more now because it's so much easier to make things.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of comments, people shitting on us and saying, oh, more white guys buying podcast gear or an XYZ thing, blah, 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 blah. Please do not compare my gear to your average cheap shit. I've got too much stuff here to say that.
We just also happen to be white and do a podcast.
Yes, we do.
Unrelated.
The reason we started this podcast, besides the fact that we already talked about games, things like that, is because I already had $50,000 worth of camera gear from my job.
Yeah.
We're just recording what otherwise we would have just been set in a car park after work.
Exactly. But
We're still not getting paid.
you guys are doing like barely any, but I'm the one here. Okay.
Tom's definitely not getting paid.
Yeah.
Tom does 98% of the work on this podcast.
All right, I'm about to buy another cinema camera. I'm about to buy another $10,000 camera. It's going to make our views go up from 300 to 400. It's going to be worth it. Stonks, yeah. But
Oh, I had a good comment to say, and I can't think what it was now.
must have been bullshit. But no, it's just easier to make stuff now. You see the amount of people on TikTok, and all they're using is just their iPhone.
That's
Yeah,
the
what's in their
problem. The camera equipment you needed to make YouTube videos back then was like
Yeah.
$400. Now it's like everyone has a 4K camera in their pocket.
Well,
It's
that's-
ridiculous.
This still costs a little bit more than $400.
Back in the
though.
day,
You know what
like,
I mean. You can make. I made videos on my old Nokia. We made Lego stop motion videos.
Yeah.
would have been crap.
Oh, it was, and then we threw all the Lego on the
So
wall.
back in the day, like I remember one of my favorite channels and one of the inspirations for me to do a lot of video work is Mega 64. They do they're a comedy troupe that do more gaming related stuff. They've had a podcast for like 16 years. I remember seeing a video recently of Rocco, one of the main guys, talking about the big shift in online entertainment because they've been doing stuff since 2003. They had some old Panasonic cameras back in the day that they used for their skits. They did in real life skits like Assassin's Creed in real life. They would dress up as Ezio and go through crowds and push people around and things like that, and just all things like that. The big thing, and this is also from the camera world of all the stuff that I do, it was when the Canon 5D Mark II came out. It was the first camera that you could buy commercially that was an interchangeable lens camera that shot video. And that was about like 2008 or 9 or something like that. Before that, you had to buy like a proper handy cam, and they cost a lot of money, and people weren't going to buy something like that if they didn't know they were going to do anything proper.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot easier to jump into like a proper camera if it can take photos as well.
Yeah.
So buying a hybrid camera, that's way more appealing. I'm going to take photos of the kids or family or whatever, and then I can do video as well. Good. So prior to that, it was a lot harder. And now it's even easier because you've got that phone in your pocket, and the video has now finally gotten up to a point where it's pretty decent.
I have
And it's
an
also
8K setting on my phone. It's ridiculous.
And in terms of editing as well, you don't have to spend as much time. For a layperson just starting out, it's just like, cool, there's this app that I can use, this app. And they charge me nothing. I just got to watch an ad every now and then.
You can do it in your bed, in your pajamas, and edit a whole video you've made and post it within 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't have that bone in my body to not want to touch my Premiere Pro or DaVinci, but it's so easy now. Like, I don't blame kids and people jumping on and putting stuff out like crazy.
If you make 400 shit videos, one of them's got to be remotely good, and then you get popular. And
Hey, that's like our clip. We've got like 180 TikToks up, and one of them blew up.
Yeah.
Just need to do that more.
You see that Instagram now has a function, because Instagram Reels is usually a lot darker of a place.
A lot more risky.
It's very risky of a place, more so than TikTok or YouTube Shorts and that sort of thing. You can now have a curated Instagram Reel like list with your group chats. So if you have a group chat, you can then make a playlist sort of thing of customized feed of all the videos you three have liked together or so. And you can just scroll through every reel that you guys have liked together. So if it's just a bunch of fucked up shit, you can just keep watching everything your mates have been watching.
That's kind of hectic.
And I was
rate
like, that's a pretty cool idea. Because all we're doing is sending each other TikTok, what are they called? Instagram Reels over and over again all day.
Yeah.
If I can just get on there, click play, and just scroll, game over. It's so much fun.
I'll tell you something to do with that, but also gaming. Who ever used the share button on any console?
Oh,
I did on the PS4, and I do on the PS5 to share things. I like in photo mode in Ghost of Tsushima to Twitter so that I can download the 4K version. Because the share app on the actual thing itself, the app,
How
sucks.
often did you use, like, look at those photos or anything?
I had them on my wallpaper as my computer for a bit.
That's cool. But, I mean, like, people aren't using those to stream or do anything. No.
I think I used it once, but it was only because it was a requirement of like unlocking some special event item or something.
Or like achievement or trophy or something like that. No one's using those share features. They're just terrible.
They've completely sort of dropped away from. Although
PlayStation
the
still
Switch is trying to. The Switch 2's kind of bringing it back with the C button now brings up so you can see your friends' faces in crappy resolution.
C for slur.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. But at the same time, I think Nintendo needs to just get better at online before they even look at the share
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. Yeah.
They only make in-house consoles. They, like, other than playing next to each other with a cable with the old Game Boys or the really shitty wireless that you got on the DSs, you can't play multiplayer on those
Besides
things.
Mario Kart or Smash, what do you want to play online a Switch with?
I mean, they keep
Sports.
trying to. I mean, yeah. I've
you
tried
can
it
put
once,
that
it
under the
wasn't
same
that-
umbrella as Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Party games.
Party games,
Yeah.
but I prefer, like, they've tried to make Pokemon into more of a multiplayer, like, active multiplayer game where you can run around with each other. It's just like,
They had that. Pokemon Go lasted 2 years and it was beautiful.
I mean, it's lasted a lot longer than that. It's
Yeah, but-
still very popular.
The worldwide craze lasted nowhere near that long.
Yeah. The
That was so
pandemic
fun.
definitely put a dint in that one.
You know, the clowns put a dint in that one.
Yeah, the clowns did put it. Yeah.
Don't you remember that?
God, I remember that. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, remember the murderous the murderous clowns that went around
Yeah,
during Pokemon Go's rise. I think I saw maybe 2 of them out in public. So do we know what that was about? Was it like, because I remember the ongoing theory with the random clowns you would see in the public in like 2016 was it was viral marketing for it,
See,
and people just ran with it.
I saw
don't-
that as well, but sorry, Brock. You'd think they'd at least look a little bit like Pennywise.
Yeah.
They were just dressed as clowns. Like, I don't know if anyone got murdered in
I-
Australia, but definitely in the States, I think there were some close calls.
I think some
or-
people were like shot at.
I think it was definitely a viral thing. I think it was just content creators trying to be the next big viral thing and just taking what had like kind of worked with previous sort of gotcha moments. I don't know if it was a marketing campaign.
Well, no, I think
that's-
the original,
was.
like what it was like they put a video or two out of a clown, like people getting chased by a clown, and then people just ran with that.
Yes.
Because that's what happened. It's like you'd go, the clowns I saw were just probably some dumb fucking person who's like trying to scare people.
Yeah.
But in America, that ended up with them getting scared because they had a shotgun pointed in their face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guys that like walk up towards a rough neighborhood and like,
And they would
I'm
always
gonna
do
walk
these
across-
ones.
Yeah, and they're like I'm gonna walk across this basketball court towards these guys playing basketball, and it's just like
What do you mean by that?
that's a dumb idea. Those guys were twice the height of you, and no,
Playing
bad.
basketball?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah,
You know
nothing says
exactly what I
viral.
mean.
Yeah. Nothing says viral moment like your mugshot on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
Oh god, people dead, killed by gaming. It's like killed by planking. Remember
Oh.
those people that fell off the building because they planked at Surfers Paradise during schoolies?
I planked at a Hoyt's. I laid across the seats before I went and saw that movie Paul when I was definitely not old enough to go see that movie Paul. That was the only one I remember getting a photo of me planking. I think it's still on my Facebook.
Every time some sort of viral stunt thing starts up, I always like look at it and go, "This is dumb. Why are people being so dumb?" And then it just grows and grows and grows. And I'm
Did
just
you
like,
donate to ALS?
No, I did not do the ice bucket challenge.
I did it. I
The
didn't donate.
Tide Pod
No
thing
one
is
did.
just like the centerpiece of this. Of just like, hey, let's do a dumb thing, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, Tide Pods were hectic. They do look yummy, but I'm not having one.
Yeah. Oh, it's got plastic. I don't even like the cheese with the wax around it. I'm not going to try and eat through a Tide Pod.
Yeah, but like it bursts in your mouth, like full of goodness.
Mm.
It's like chicken jockey, but better.
Yeah, the original chicken jockey.
Oh god.
Are we done?
Did we
Yeah.
ever talk about any of the things we were going to talk about this
No.
episode?
No, because you were talking about. What did you want to talk about? The cloud saves or some rubbish?
Yeah, Switch 2 apparently isn't going to support cloud saves for games that supported it on the original Switch. Which
All right.
is, let me
Yeah, no,
just
you
say,
go. Yeah, I just got something else to say.
the big one that I saw this on was
Yeah?
Let's
for
save it
Zelda.
there.
The reason I find this dumb is because you can import your save from the
Original, and you just can't do it on that one. That's silly.
Yes, it's just like, why would you not support it?
That's very silly.
Money.
I saw this a little bit online. I don't want to 100% confirm this, but I was talking to these guys about it. Apparently on the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild, you've got to buy the DLC again on the remaster. What?
If you previously bought it for the original one, you still got to buy it again.
Did you double check it?
I haven't double checked it yet because I can't find any.
We
sort
don't
of
fact check
official-
here. It's fine. We just
Yeah,
put
we
it out
don't
into
fact
the-
check it,
We
yeah.
just put it out into the world and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any official back and forth on it at all. It's just been people going, "Here's how we understand it to work so far."
I'd say.
No one at Nintendo works hard.
Yeah. Besides Reggie Fils-Aimé, but he's gone now. Rip in peace.
Yeah.
Now it's Doug Bowser.
I mean, great name for the guy running it, but
Coinkydink? I think not.
Yeah, I think that's a freaking
That's an alias.
All right. See you, Jeremy and Brock. Is there something you want to say?
yeah, we will save it there.
All right. See ya.